Hi everyone, this is Shelly, and I'm making another video today as part of my series, Educating Your Children in Wartime. Just a reminder, we're at war. Our education system is collapsing. And with all my heart, I urge you, if you haven't done it yet, take your kids out of school. Take them out. Take them out of those public schools. Those are war zones. They are dangerous. So dangerous for your children, for their security, for their minds, for their hearts. Don't put them in an environment that's set to form them in a system, in a worldview that's actually against you, the parent. So, if this is the first time you've stepped onto my videos, then I encourage you to hear more from me from my first video called Homeschooling Simply. Go to that one, get my vision, get my heart. But today I'm going to talk about math. And, math is important. And, I said there's three things that your children need for a solid education: reading, writing, and arithmetic. So here we are with arithmetic. Math is important because on so many levels. Obviously, they need to be able to count, they need to be able to add, they need to do those things to function in life. But it also works with developing logical thinking. Sometimes when kids get in higher level math, they're like, why would I need to do this? How does this actually do anything in my life? Where would I ever use algebra? Well, you might not use algebra if you end up being a journalist or something like that in your life. You may not use algebra, but let me tell you what it does do. It actually trains you in logical thinking. Algebra, higher level math, teaches it exercises the brain in logic. So that is the value of mathematics and why it's really important that every child is exercised in that daily. So I want to encourage you to have your child be doing math every single day. So at the elementary level, math is pretty simple. Reading, writing, multiplication, division. Really, any mathematic curriculum is fine, as long as they're progressing. My experience with textbooks, is that if you can master one textbook and then move on to the other, they're progressing just fine. Some people are like, how do I know if they're doing well? Well, are they finishing a textbook and passing the test? Then they're doing fine. Move on to the next textbook. If you don't have access to textbooks, you could go online and download, probably things from Pinterest or other sources with exercises. I've noticed that a lot of curriculums are no longer doing multiplication drills. I recommend just good old multiplication drills. Just drill them, get those times tables into their systems. There's a lot of sing-along videos that are on YouTube and other places. I don't really recommend YouTube, but you know what I mean. There are resources online that they put timetables in song. Song is such a helpful medium for memorization. You put a tune to it, it's just so much easier to memorize. So work on, just relax, just keep growing. If you went to school and you had math, you'll have a pretty good sense of what they need. Now, when they get into middle school, things shift a little bit. It gets a little trickier, it gets a little harder. I know for myself, once my kids started getting into algebra, I just couldn't pull it up real quick, and I was gonna have to relearn it. Thankfully, my husband, he's just brilliant, and he could remember all that stuff. So here's just some suggestions for you. Number one, there's a really great online math curriculum that I highly recommend called teachingtextbooks.com. I have checked it out. I really like it, and I would encourage you, if you find the higher level math tricky for you, or it's going to take you just as long to learn it as your child, I like the way it's set up. Um, it it grades. It doesn't. It requires the student to have some mastery before they can move on. It does all the grading, keeps all those accounts, tests them. So you as a parent can just check all of that. Checks all their how they're doing, their scoring, and everything like that. So take some of the pressure off of you. So I've had some really good feedback from parents I know that have started using it at the higher level. Now, if one of you, like if like my husband was really good with math, so one of the things I did was I just bought an extra textbook. I always bought used. So I bought him an extra one, a duplicate, and he took it to the office with him. And the thing is, the textbooks teach the math. So your child can read their textbook and actually see it explained, see the exercises, practice, and the math book teaches. So they just need to learn to follow the directions, read the math, and practice it. And a lot of times they'll just figure it out, they'll get it. But like in my home, my husband had a textbook at work, and if my children really got stuck, they could call him, and he at work could pause and open up the textbook and then coach them on it and help them troubleshoot. So, and then sometimes they just had to wait until he got home. But we had math every single day, Monday through Friday. I always had it first thing in the morning. That was the thing I wanted them to do first when they were fresh, and I felt like, let's just get this done, get it over with. I kept an eye on it. Like, I felt like an hour a day was plenty. I mean, sometimes it depends on what's going on. If you have a child that's pushing back and giving you a hard time, that's a different issue. When I say an hour a day, I'm talking about the level of work, the amount of work, instructions and the actual practicing. A lot of times I felt like if they mastered stuff, generally textbooks and stuff they'll load it up. So if I felt like they mastered something, I'd just say, don't worry about these exercises, just skip that. I didn't want to waste their time with busy work. I wanted it to be meaningful. So, you have that prerogative as a parent. Many children don't like math. It's okay. It's okay they don't like it. There's many things in life we don't like to do. I don't like cooking, but I cook dinner. Probably that math regimen helped work that muscle in me to do things and embrace a regimen in my life that I don't enjoy but needs to be done. And so that's part of it, is they may not like it, but it's okay. You, the parent, know what's best for them, and you get to exert your covering and your God-given authority and say, honey, I understand you don't like it, but I know what's best for you, and you need to do this. So what are some other things? Oh, children are different. So and what I mean, they're learning, the way they learn is different. So if you're finding that they're struggling with mastery of math, you're like, why are they having such a hard time with this? You might need to just try a different approach. You might need to find a different curriculum. Some kids really work better with manipulatives, they're kinesthetic. There's some types of math that are spiral, which means they learn a new concept and then they review a whole bunch of the prior concepts. That would have helped me more as a child, because I tended to forget things very quickly, so if I didn't keep them fresh. So there's that spiral method. But then there's some where it's just you master a concept before you move on. So you just have to try different things, and if it's not working, then don't. One of my children, they were so good in math, and then they hit Algebra 2 and just bombed it. So because we were homeschooling, we're like, well, let's just, and you're way ahead. We're gonna skip that year. We're gonna start all over, and we got a completely different curriculum. And we just had to kind of break through whatever the barriers were from a completely different angle. And he eventually got it. So you just have to, sometimes you have to do that, and it's okay. Let's see, let me look at my notes here. What am I forgetting? Um, so at high school, I'm going to say that really a solid high school education in math really needs to go up to Algebra 2. Pre-calc would be ideal, but Algebra 2 for sure, especially if they're planning on going on to any higher education. You really want to get them to Algebra 2. So, you know, trigonometry, those things in the pre-calc would be helpful. It would be good, more advanced math, especially if they kind of have a science bent. They probably would want to, you know, get at least up to that level so when they get into college or whatever, they can jump into calculus. But definitely Algebra 2. So that's just a goal in terms of high school and mastery in terms of mathematics. So again, that teaching textbooks, but there are other curriculums, and honestly, you know, you have people that swear by one curriculum, one people swear, they're all fine. They're all fine. If they're fine. You know, I guess the only thing I'd say is if it's just way too easy and you're a little suspect that the curriculum is not demanding enough. I mean, it could be that your child's just incredibly brilliant, or if you just feel like, yeah, that's not what's going on here, then you might want to switch up. But for the most part, my experience is they're all pretty good. And if you end up picking up a used math book, like it's dated 1972 or something, it's fine. It doesn't matter. The pictures are old. The print looks a little old. It's the same math. It's the same. Don't worry about it. Keep it cheap, keep it simple. Don't sweat it. You don't need the latest edition of math. It's fine. Algebra 2 has been Algebra 2 for a really long time. New print, old print, it's the same Algebra 2. All right. God bless you. Go to it.